Hi. Let me introduce myself. My name is Deja from Trick or Treat Music. We are a music media based in Mexico City. And I
Mhm.
am pretty excited to be here with you and to get to have a little chat about what's coming up.
Yeah, yeah, same here.
So, first of all, I'd like to dig a little bit into your musical formation because you're a multi instrumentalist, and that's actually admirable. So, how many instruments do you play?
So I play two, I would say pretty well, but then I probably dabble in about five or six.
Okay, and which ones?
Uh, Drums, piano, guitar, uh, and then flute and saxophone.
Okay. And what
Yeah.
instrument was the first one that you started to play, and at what age?
I was about 7 years old when I started to play the flute.
Okay.
7 years old, and then yeah, saxophone was like around 15.
Okay.
Mm.
And how was your first approach to music, and which artist inspired you to actually start creating music?
I think my first approach with music was when I was around seven, obviously, when I started playing the flute. And when I started to actually make music, I was probably closer to 15. And I was really inspired by a lot of producers at the time who were also making music. So I think Pharrell was a really big inspiration for me as a kid. Um, Also, Andre 3000 as well from Outkast. Um, yeah, and then all these other artists that I think are sort of like producers and things like that on SoundCloud, because that's also where I started making music, was on SoundCloud. So
Okay. How would Josh define cautious clay?
how would I define conscious clay? I don't know. Uh, I would say free spirited. I don't know, just sort of like unbothered, free spirited, um, hopeful, cynical. I don't know, all of these things in one.
That's pretty nice. What other musical genres do you listen to besides R&B and hip hop?
I love most music. I think for me, it's about the songs and the vibe that comes with it. So I listen to a lot of genres of music. Um, yeah, folk music. I listen to a ton of jazz. I listen to electronic, kind of like tech house kind of stuff. I had a really big tech house phase. Um, yeah, also rock. Love a lot of like classic rock and grunge rock and punk stuff. I think it's more just like the artists.
Like,
Sometimes I listen to a song and then I'm like, oh, what's that song, or oh, what's that artist, and then I just find it and then I have a little moment with it.
okay. So you're releasing a new album, right?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Like, is it gonna be soon or
Yes. Well, I haven't announced the date yet, but that's definitely coming very soon. I
okay?
don't know, yeah, like when this is coming out, but
What emotions are behind this upcoming album?
I think that emotionally, um, a lot of I think like hope and frustration and sadness, and also like a little bit of kind of like, I think like laughter in some ways, or sort of like this sort of like kind of self-reflection. But it's a big part of the album is really just about like self-reflection and identity in the context of relationships, just with yourself and with the people around you. And I think that it's all interwoven within like this, yeah, the complex emotions that everyone has in their life, you know? So
Yeah. I totally
def-
get that. So tell me, how has your sound evolved since the release of that uh, cover you did like 5 years ago of the Rimoa song, So Many Details, till now?
oh yeah, wow. It's changed quite a bit. I think I've become a much better producer um, than I was then. But I think, yeah, I think that in general, my sound has sort of just. I think I'm able to um, create. I think songs and ideas in a much fuller way than I had before. I think, and I wasn't as focused on my voice that back then as I am now. I think if you listen to that recording, you could probably tell that my voice sounds like kind of weird and creepy or something. I don't know, but it definitely doesn't sound like it does in more recent recordings.
Okay. And what's the most challenging thing that you've experienced in all this process of creating like music or even this new album?
The most challenging thing for me has been figuring out what order and sort of the overall like idea of the album. I think finding out how to relate everything to each other and sort of like make it into the full 14 songs that all kind of work well together has been a huge challenge for me because I have hundreds of songs, you know, but I want to put it into 14, you know. So it's sort of like for me that was like the hardest part is is finding how to really make it a succinct kind of like statement in that amount of songs, you know.
Okay. So, the pandemic has made everything go digital. How do you feel about not being able to play live at a venue, with a crowd and everything?
Feels weird. Feels definitely feels weird, but I think yeah, I hope that that changes. I hope that that obviously is something that we're working towards, and we're even planning to do some shows this summer potentially outdoors.
Oh,
So
okay.
there's certainly things that we're considering now that more people are getting vaccinated and uh, yeah, things are getting warmer. But it definitely is not. It's something that I miss because we've done a lot of you know online shows and it just feels very strange. But
Yeah, I can imagine that. How have you been experiencing each single release while being in lockdown?
oh, it's been cool. I think it's yeah, it feels like a little bit half-hearted, like you're saying, because it's not like there's like anything like we're planning shows, but we're not, you know, it's still like the whole process of it is it feels like half-hearted almost like it's not the same. Like we are looking forward to things, but it's like, you know, I would say that like the idea of like it feels like half-hearted. But I think it's exciting because we have videos, we have a lot of fun things coming with these songs. So I'm really looking forward to just like that element of it as well.
Okay. So tell me, how did participating in renowned series soundtracks like 13 Reasons Why and Insecure influence your career?
Oh man, I think it sort of opened it up to the possibility of I don't know, writing and scoring music as well, which I've been doing now as of this past, I guess, starting into 2021. I was actually asked to do music for a big TV show. So it was sort of a pretty awesome opportunity for me, and that's been like the only other thing besides obviously finishing the album and everything that comes along with that. Um, and so I think being featured in these other shows was sort of like there were a lot more talks and we got a lot more interest from me to actually be involved in like writing music for a show. And so I'm doing that now for the show called Godfather of Harlem, starring Forrest Whitaker, and it's been really fun. It's been a really fun process, and I think that it will definitely sort of influence other projects that I'm working on besides like my album and my Cautious Clay music. I think it will be sort of a new chapter as well, and sort of exploring, you know, different things around my creative process.
Right. And tell me about an artist that you always admired and you were a fan of that now recognizes and admires your work.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I mean, I mean, I worked with Anderson .Paak a few times,
Okay.
which was really cool. And also John Legend, who I wrote 3 songs for on his album that won a Grammy. So
Okay.
that was kind of a big deal. And like that happened so recently, and then I kept getting hit up by my friends, and they were just like, "Oh yeah, like you know, John Legend won a Grammy," and I was like, "Oh okay." And then like I basically uh, I didn't win the Grammy because of it because I only worked on 3 of his songs in the album, but technically I could get a Grammy certificate if I wanted to. But
Yeah.
I didn't I was really honored obviously to work with such a legend, but yeah, I would say he's definitely someone who I listened to as a kid and was like, "Oh wow," like to be working with him in the same room and Anderson .Paak, and those are 2 pretty cool situations for sure.
And what other artist would you like to work with or collaborate with?
Um, I think, man, I think my answers are always changing.
And it's
I don't
okay.
know. I don't really know. Like, I would love, I'd love to work with Andre 3000. That was always one person that I'd love to work with. But Kendrick Lamar is another one. Um, SZA is a great one too. But uh, yeah, I don't know. It's sort of like dependent upon the situations. I feel like if it feels right, that'd be great. But
Yeah.
um,
So, it catches my attention that every single of this album, I'm talking about the cover art, has this food related sticker and the name of the song and some of the lyrics written as if it was like a dictionary. Would you tell me a
yeah,
little bit about that?
yeah, totally. So to be honest, I didn't really have single arts that I sort of felt excited about, and so I wanted to sort of create this world around the lyrics that kind of like connected everything together. And I also feel like food is such a universal thing, and everybody likes food, and I think we all need it. But I I I felt sort of like that in conjunction with just like I just love like Lauren Martin. Her illustrations are just they have so much character. And so I hit her up to work on this project, and so I wanted her to create illustrations for some of the lyrics as a way to sort of like create this fantasy world or this sort of escapism aspect of the music. Um, but but the actual album art actually has nothing to do with it. So it was sort of just an interesting place for me to sort of like visualize. Um, I wanted to just visualize the music in a way where I felt like it was like sort of lighthearted, but then it also was sort of dealing with some like deeper stuff at the same time. So I felt like the dictionary definition to that, and then like you have these like kind of light, like a little bit like silly looking illustrations to sort of like balance it.
So we're already done with this interview, but I have one more question for you. Would you tell me three underrated artists that you like and listen to that you consider they should be way more recognized?
Am I supposed to say me? I don't know.
If you want to, yeah.
Uh, I have no idea. I mean, I listen to a lot of stuff, so I have to like look.
Or
Uh,
maybe just one, the first one that pops in your head, like,
yeah, I mean, mm, I don't know. There's this person I found on TikTok who's incredible. They're this they're this vocalist, and I've never heard anybody sound like them in my entire life. And I was just blown away. So that would be one, but I don't even know what their name is actually. Their name is Peter Collins. Peter Collins music.
okay,
Uh, incredible.
okay.
Absolutely incredible. Hola, mi nombre es Cautious Clay. I'd love for you to listen to my upcoming album and my upcoming single. It's called Karma and Friends. Hope you all have a great day.
Well,
Bye.